Hey, sorry, didn't see you there. Was hoping to talk to you guys about some phones. I hope you like phones because I've got 3 phones that I want to talk to you about. One is the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, one is the LG G5, and the other is the HTC 10. You might notice something about all these phones. These are all flagships, and it is now May of 2016, and we kind of want to see how these all stack up now that you can all buy them for yourselves. That hardware is a really fun one because we can basically just say, cool, G5, you're out of here. The G5 does not feel good in the hand. The build feels really, really poor to the touch, and then it's also really, really poor when it comes to the actual little details about the device. There's a gap between the chin and the body, and that's just sloppy. Things don't line up properly. For me, the HTC 10 is just the king of build for this year. Everything about it screams attention to detail. It's just carefully constructed. It looks gorgeous. The details, especially like this ridged button, I mentioned that in the review, are just very, very, very present on this device, more so than the other 2 that we're talking about. That said, the hardware on the S7 really matters because this thing's waterproof. If you need a waterproof device, there's no one else that's gonna do it for you right now. If you need something that's gonna be able to handle getting wet in a kitchen or something that you just don't wanna have to worry about dropping in the toilet because you're really clumsy, then the S7 is, again, basically the only option for you. Finally, the G5 does have one other small thing going for it. Because it's quote-unquote modular, the battery can be pulled out from the bottom. It's the only flagship with a removable battery as of right now. So if that really matters to you, that's a selling point. But in terms of hardware, in terms of feel in the hand, I gotta give it to the 10. This is just the one that feels like it's the right size. The screen's the right size. I can reach everywhere on the screen. And the phone just feels phenomenal in my hand. If I could just have HTC build every phone I ever buy and swap out the rest of the components for better stuff than they've been putting into their devices, I would be so, so happy. Neither the HTC device nor the G5 are particularly rich when it comes to software features. Especially recently, HTC seems to have taken a little bit more of a toned down, closer to stock approach when it comes to software. Samsung has not. There's a lot of stuff, but that comes with the negative side of running TouchWiz, which means you're not gonna get updates very fast, and it means that you're gonna get some really aggressive RAM management and some less than ideal experiences when it comes to the UI and UX. However, on the 10, this is the closest to stock we've seen HTC come, and it's not as close as Motorola's, but it's pretty darn close. So for someone like me, who hates the software on the S7 and loves the software on stock Android, the 10 kind of takes it for me here. All right, now for the camera, this is a fun one because all 3 of these devices actually take excellent shots. There's still a small issue with some pinkish hues in indoor photos on the 10, but overall, excellent, excellent photographs. But man, I think you're gonna be surprised at this one, but I have to give this one to the G5. More often than not, it feels like the software on the S7 is leaning towards making sure you get the shot, not necessarily making sure you get a good shot. The camera software in the G5 is just superb. I think they did a phenomenal job with making sure that the iconography is really understandable, parsable, readable, tappable, and that there's a lot of really fun features in here for you to use, and it also adds a lot in terms of the actual experience. This second 8-megapixel shooter is a wide-angle lens, and I have not had so much fun taking photos and videos on a phone since this thing. Or, you know, since a long time ago, or until this one came out. It's a lot of fun, okay? There isn't another phone out there right now that can replicate images like these. I just think that the camera on the G5 is above and beyond fantastic. The G4 last year was also very good, but they really outdid themselves this time. It was a close matchup between the S7 and the G5, but overall I gotta just give it to the G5. Battery life is pretty easy to gauge. The S7 wins pretty handily. It has the most in terms of milliamp hours, and it lasts the longest in terms of uptime and screen on time. This is just the best one of the 3. The other 2 come in at a, I don't even want to say second. It's almost like no one got second, and these are both in last. They're not great in terms of battery. You're gonna get 11 hours of uptime, 3 hours or so of screen on time. Basically, both of them have battery life straight out of 2015. So that's not what you're looking for in a flagship device that costs $600 to $700. So I'm not thrilled on the battery life with either of these two. That's a pretty easy win for the S7. Speaking of easy wins for the S7, the display. And finally, on to speakers. I don't normally make a big deal out of this, but because these make sense, I think it's worth mentioning. So boom sound is here on the 10, but it's not in a dual stereo front-facing speaker configuration. You've got a lows and a highs driver on the device in two separate places. One is bottom firing and one is front firing. I actually think the S7, David agrees with me, David and I are both on the same page about this. The speakers on the S7 I think are much louder. I shouldn't say much louder, but they're definitely louder. If you place them side to side on your desk, play on one, same song, stop, and then play on the other one, there's a pretty noticeable difference. The S7 is pretty darn loud. And now time for the all-important customization section. And on dbrand, you get a ton of options for customization for all three of these devices, but we got to give it to the HTC 10. There's just way too many areas to customize here. You can do all kinds of colors. You can make it look really ugly. You can make it look really pretty if you want to. So customization goes to dbrand on this one. And thank you so much, dbrand, for sponsoring the channel. Very much appreciate your support. You guys can head over to dbrand.com to get your own skins. Make it look as good or as terrible as you want to. So we're looking at 3 flagship devices, and all of them have their strong suits, but I think you might know which one's the winner already. Despite the fact that the S7 is easily the most expensive, and the fact that I still don't really think that flagships have enough to offer, that difference in price is big enough for us as the consumer, and you're not giving us enough to merit the difference of $300 from a $400 phone that's perfectly respectable up to a $700 flagship that you claim does everything. Either way, between these 3 devices, despite the love I have for the 10 and the, ire I have for the G5, I think that the winner is the Samsung Galaxy S7. It's just the best all-around package this year, despite its incredibly high price point. When the price comes down, you better believe that you better pick this phone up, because the screen is fantastic, the build is fantastic, the camera's fantastic, the speaker's fantastic. It's a great phone. It's a great phone. Thank you guys so much for watching this quick little 3-way showdown between the 3 flagships that are out right now. Let me know what other devices you want to see included in these kinds of videos. Let me know if this worked for you. If you want to see more versuses of this nature, including 3 devices, you want to focus on a particular kind of thing more often, let me know if this was fun for you. If you didn't like it, just like anything else on the channel, we'll never do it again. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you in the next video.